Hi everybody and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life through a different perspective and we either learn something new or we're reminded of something that we already knew. So this week's episode is called A Change in Perspective Equals a Change in Outcome. Now, I always say that each week what I'm hoping to do on these episodes is to share a different perspective. And I think perspective is so important in our lives. I think it's something that really creates the framework for the stories that we tell ourselves. And stories can be a great thing, but if your framework is off, your story's going to be off. And so if we shift that perspective, the story changes. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you were driving down the highway and out of nowhere, this guy comes screaming past you, changes lanes, is speeding, driving crazy, and you're like, oh my God, what a jerk face. Or maybe it's more colorful than that, what you say. And you want to flip him the bird, which you probably can't see because he's going that fast and not even paying attention. And it's annoying and it's frustrating. And you think, you could cause an accident driving like that. And sometimes the story we tell ourselves is it's, just someone in a rush to something, or he just drives like an idiot, or doesn't know what he's doing, or he must be young, or whatever story we make up, right? But what if we shifted that? What if we shifted it and thought, I wonder if he's rushing to the hospital because he just got a phone call and his partner or his child was just in an accident and he's trying to get there as fast as he can. If we shifted it to that, you'd notice a change. And the two things that happen when we shift our perspective is first a change in emotion. So when I said that just now, did you experience sort of a shift in your heart rate and a shift in your mindset and sort of oh, yeah, it could be that, right? Because it helps us kind of tune in to what they might be going through. And when we shift that perspective and become more empathetic to what someone might be going through, then our action changes. And that's the second shift, is our action. And at that point, if you knew, or even if you just thought, hey, maybe he's on the way to the hospital for a family member, and you had that sense of empathy coming from your heart, and then maybe you slowed down or switched lanes to allow him to pass, the whole story changes. When we make that shift and we have a change in emotion and a change in our action, that's when the change in outcome really happens. This was really important back a few years ago when I was feeling really stressed and overwhelmed. And I had written this blog post called Work-Life Balance is Bullshit. Here's how to create a delicious life. And that was really what started it for me. So in that blog post, I basically go on to talk about how life isn't about balance, work-life balance, because that is bullshit. It's actually about ratio, just like a cookie recipe is. So I use the analogy of a cookie recipe to illustrate that it's about getting the right amount of the right ingredients, and that you'll need different amounts of all of them, and it's not necessarily equal. Whereas when you think of work-life balance as a scale, it's like you're trying to keep them equally weighted so you stay steady. And that shift in perspective from going here with the balance to, no, we're trying to collect all these ingredients together in the right amounts, and that's going to create something delicious. That was a game changer for me. And it shifted, one, how I felt about it, because I no longer felt stressed trying to be all things to all people. I knew now I could give what I needed to in these certain areas, and it was different amounts, and that was perfectly okay. So it shifted the emotion, and then it shifted the action, because I knew what I needed to focus on to really get the outcome that I wanted. So that shift in perspective created a shift in the ultimate outcome of what was happening in my life. I'm so excited about this because when I had that change in perspective for myself, it really changed the outcome for my life. And I think that this idea of ratio instead of balance can help so many people out there. Now, I have the absolute pleasure and joy going out to speak to people at conferences or in corporate settings and even leading workshops. And it's amazing to share this message with them. But I wanted to help more people. And so what I've done is created an online course. And the online course is going to launch on June 26th. It's called Delicious Life Online. And it's going to be awesome because people are going to be able to log in and they're going to start out with this full talk about work-life balance. And I actually make cookies in the talk. So like my inner cooking show host self gets to come out and I get to live out that fantasy I had since I was a little kid. I learned that I never want to have a cooking show. It's a whole lot of work. But I get to share that whole analogy with you and really illustrate it and show you how there are parts of your life that you're going to have more of and parts of your life that you're going to have less of. But when you put them together, that's delicious. So this online course is going to kick off with that entire talk, and it really sets up that framework for the rest of the course. So I'm super excited about it. So if this is something you're interested in, please go over to michellecarre.com and head to the blog page where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. And two things are going to happen. One, these emails will pop into your inbox every Wednesday. And two, you will be able to get extra special bonuses that only people who are subscribed to the newsletter are going to get. So I'm super pumped about this course. I'm super excited to share it with you. And I'd love it if you were on the mailing list so you could get first dibs to it and those special bonuses. I wish you guys a delicious life and a delicious week. I hope things are amazing in your world. And I hope this idea of shifting your perspective helps you shift the outcomes that you want in your life. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.